All right, so last week in the NBA, this hypothetical trade was put out there that has seemed to now grow into a trade rumor. We don't really know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But it's got fans riled up a little bit, especially Sixer fans. It was Ben Simmons.
The worst fan base to get riled up, too.
Oh,
one of the best fan bases in the NBA. Or any sport, major sport. But don't get them riled up.
Oh, they're irrational.
Yeah,
they're just, you can't, yeah. But that, we can't say it too loud. We gotta be quiet about that in this office. But it was Ben Simmons. You know, there's details involved, but it was hypothetically, it was saying that the Sixers should look into trading Ben Simmons to the Warriors for D'Angelo Russell.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about this when we saw it. And your question to me was, does D'Angelo Russell make the Sixers better? And is Ben Simmons the problem in Philly? So that's where I want to start.
Yeah.
Is for you, do you think D'Lo makes the Sixers better?
Nope.
At all?
I mean, marginally. Do I think he gets them over the hump in the Eastern Conference? No.
Okay.
He's a volume scorer.
Right.
And you're bringing a volume scorer into a situation where you already seem to have an issue with like shots, right? Like I'd make that argument when you have a guy like Ben Simmons. If I'm an organization, I'm the Sixers, and I've got two young burgeoning stars like Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. Like I'm not even gonna get into the argument over who's at fault here and who needs the space to grow. But they both should be afforded opportunity to grow. Ben Simmons has had to take a 2-shot per game step back in his development.
Right.
Like that's not how you develop young, like potential superstar talent, by taking less or by giving him less responsibility and less FGAs. And so when I look at that and I wonder what you're going to do when you take a volume scorer, because he's not a volume guy, and you drop him in, I have to wonder what that does to your chemistry.
What do you say to the thought process that Ben Simmons, Ben Simmons and Embiid they're not a perfect fit with each other. And part of the issue is Ben Simmons, it's not even that he can't shoot, because we think he can. He just refuses to shoot.
Yeah.
So now you would take a guy who essentially refuses to shoot, and you bring in a guy who we know can stretch the floor because he is a scorer. I mean, he's a scorer. He's not a knockdown. They're not bringing back JJ Redick.
Right.
But he would fill a need for them, which is, well, two things. One is he can stretch the floor from the point guard position.
Right.
Two, he's an end-of-game scorer, which they really don't have right now.
Yeah, I mean, he loves to tell you that too, right? Like that's his shtick,
well, he's a
right?
potential.
He's ice in his veins.
Potential end-of-game scorer.
Look, when you asked me the question initially, I said yes, they would get better, but again, don't know that you get good enough to get you over the hump. You're the Sixers, and what your calling card is, whether you know it or not, like, and I'm not in their building, so I don't know it, is that you go 6'10", 6'6", 6'9", 7 foot, and 6'8", and you defend. And Ben Simmons is one of the most unique defenders in the NBA right now. You don't get a lot of credit for that, but he can guard 1 through 5 and do it all really, really well. Mm-hmm. So your calling card is that you're big, you're tough to play against, you're going to make it really, really difficult to score in the paint. You've got all this length, and your versatility allows you to switch almost everything.
Yep.
All that goes away with D'Lo.
Sure.
And now you become another identity midway through the season, and you gotten a little bit better in terms of spacing the floor. But to your point, it's not exponentially better in terms of like JJ Redick or all-time great shooters, right? So you're trading, something you're trading something that you're not sure that you can be for something that you already know you are, which is a lockdown defensive stalwart type of team. And so, I don't love that.
Yeah, and I think to your point on the switchability of the team and their length and their size, and how good of a defender Ben Simmons really is. Underrated. Probably, we'll talk late at some point about, we talk midseason awards a little bit, defensive player of the year. He probably won't get as much love as he should.
No, but he leads the league in steals right now, and he's not even like a swiper. There are guys when I played, like I know I'm going to go off topic. Yeah. There are guys that were notorious swipers.
Yeah.
They played no defense, but they'd lead the league or be top 5 in steals because all they're doing is swiping out there.
Oh yeah, like Ricky Rubio is always in the conversation. I remember when he was in the draft, and I talked to Lionel Hollins when I was in Memphis, and I was like, "Is he a good defender?" He's like, "No, but what he's really good at is just breaking off a play and just going and swiping at a ball and getting a steal." And he's always near the top. But to your point, and we talk with Rip about this all the time, steals normally are not a super valuable stat. But in his case, he's just that good of a defender.
He's just that good, yeah.
But to your point about the switchability of this team, it poses the question to me of, should Ben Simmons be the one in these conversations about trades, or should Joel Embiid? Now, I understand how to Philly fans that's going to be a sacrilegious comment to even say Joel Embiid, but he's sort of an antiquated player in today's NBA, and for all the people who tell me that he's a stretch 5 and he can shoot the ball, no, he really can't. And I think partially for them, some of the worst things that can happen to him is when he hits his first couple threes, he's jacking shots. He's never shot above 50% from the field in his career, which I harp on a lot, and Philly fans don't like, but it's true. From a talent standpoint, to me, he's got Shaq level potential talent-wise to dominate. He's just never done it. He keeps getting hurt, and I know this last one was a freak injury, but again, it's an injury nonetheless. They say he's in his 4th year in the league. No, he's in his 6th. He just sat out his first 2 years.
Right.
And you can't switch 1 through 5 with Embiid. You can switch 1 through 4 with Embiid.
Right.
But you just paid Al Horford to be on your team for the next 4 years, and you can switch 1 through 5 with him. And if you were to move Embiid and get some value, which I think I would imagine you could get some value for Embiid at this point because people still do look at him as that kind of player.
Right.
Maybe he's the guy, because I think Ben Simmons, in the right situation, and it's been proven that you can build a championship-level team around a guy like Ben Simmons. They did it with LeBron. He's not LeBron, but they're doing it with Giannis in Milwaukee. He's that type of size and skill set that if they built it the right way with him and a bunch of shooters, we'd probably be talking about him in the MVP conversation every year just because of how you could accentuate his skill set. And you would cancel out the fact that he can't shoot the ball very well.
Yeah, I would. This is a tough one for me because I don't know that you have to move Embiid or you have to move Ben Simmons. I think you have to figure out what gives you the best chance to win. And if in the absence of being able to do that, if you asked me which one of those players was more prototypical for what we're doing right now and more what you would want if you were trying, it would be Ben Simmons. Because now he doesn't shoot, but you know that at 6'10", with the ball in his hands, he's getting by anybody, provided there's space there. Yeah. And collapsing a defense, if you provide him with a supplementation of shooting, to your point, like there's a lot of examples of that working. You know, Joel Embiid is just good enough shooting the 3 for it to be tantalizing for a team to allow him to continue to explore and continue to like beef up his 3-point opportunities. His value really to me lies in the fact that there aren't any more big, plotting, defensive-minded centers, and he has the ability to do that. That doesn't have to be all he does, but that's where your advantage lies because ain't nobody's around to defend you anymore.
They are they're even as good as Ben Simmons is defensively, they are a much better team defensively when Embiid is on the floor than when Simmons is on the floor. They're better offensive teams.
Right.
It's an interesting split there, but they are they're borderline dominant team defensively when Embiid when he's on the floor.
And I think you have to figure out a way to like really maximize his offensive skill set, and that would be, I think, finding the ratio between threes and time spent on the perimeter playing and getting him easy buckets in the paint. Because when he goes to work on that block or mid post or even around the high post area, he's really tough. He's really tough to guard. But I think you see him shoot low 30s, and you couple that with all the stuff he can do in the paint, and you're like, man, let him spread his wings and see if he can shoot more and more. And so that's what you fall into when you're looking at Embiid. I am more of a Ben Simmons guy, just personally. I think that at this point in their career, and in the marriage between the two with the franchise, the ball should be in Ben Simmons' hands. Like you should find a way to get it in his hands, allow him to get you into offense, allow him to be attacking the gaps and figuring out how to play off of that, more than kind of just sitting him down in the short corners because he can't really stretch the floor and having him play off of someone else. Like I don't even think that's how you develop a guy like Ben Simmons. Right. It might give you the best chance to win, but I'd argue that too. Certainly not helping him develop. And ultimately, like, that would be my objective for a Sixers team. Like, I got to develop this guy. I got to know exactly what it looks like going into this summer so I can really make a determination or a decision on which one of these guys, if I have to part ways, becomes the guy I'm living with.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a Simmons guy too. And all of that, and the fact that I think we've only seen 60% of his ceiling, 65%. I don't know. I think he still can get a lot better.
Oh, dude, listen.
But I think we've seen what Embiid is. I don't know that he can Embiid get that much better.
Again, we talked about Luka and Giannis. Like, where are you going from here?
I think Embiid is pretty much what Embiid is.
He is.
But I think Simmons has you could put a rocket ship on that guy.
If I'm Ben Simmons and you're floating out rumors of potentially trading me to Golden State, let's rock.
That's a title next year.
Let's go. I'm ready to go.
And give me Ben Simmons with a healthy Steph and Clay.
I'm ready to go. Like, my bags are, I'm packed. No shade to Philly. Like, I loved it here. But if you're going to give me an opportunity to do that, I need to see what that looks like. And I'm not even going to touch on all the on-the-court things that you could do with that type of talent. Let me just say, purely from a what's missing from his game perspective, which is his jump shot, dropping him into a culture of shooting with the Steph and the Clay. I know Stevie Nash was helping out there for a while. You've got Steve Kerr, a bunch of great coaches out there. That is an infectious thing. Like, when shooting is the narrative around your gym and cerebral play is the narrative around your gym, all that becomes heightened for good players, right? It starts to rub off. It starts to sink in. And so if there's any place he could go to develop a jumper over the next few years to really round out his skill set, it would be Golden State.
Fair to say that Ben Simmons on Golden State, if he was to go now, within the next 3 to 4 years, best player in the NBA.
One of the
up there.
I mean, yeah, he's going to be in the conversation.
I mean, we're never going to put him immediately past Giannis.
He's going to be in the conversation.
After Giannis,
he's going to be in the conversation. If what I think can happen to him
this is
like yes, I think he could be in the conversation.
Hey, Bob Myers, I don't know if there's any truth to this, but make the call.
Yeah.
The blueprint's been laid out.
I think his bags are packed.
Yeah, he's ready. Ben Simmons is ready.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.